Hey Canucks fans, let's continue to sort through the aftermath of last night's NHL Draft Lottery. I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter, I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram, I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and it's my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Saturday, June the 27th. This is where you get Canucks insight that's positive and timely. Before I get to the big news of last night, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for the great replies and the great messages. My daughter Kayla got confirmed yesterday in the Catholic Church is basically one of the sacraments of initiation. So basically, as she makes her way to a more mature person in the faith, more mature young person in the faith, we do that in grade 7 here. So yes, Kayla is now done St. Paul's Elementary School, looking ahead to Hugh Boyd High School, where both Sean went and Jacob is still going right now. And then Kayla got confirmed. Yeah, she looked beautiful in her dress, not just because she looks like me. I'm not saying that I look beautiful. Oh yeah, I founder of the GLCPC. But yes, thanks for your wonderful well wishes. And it was funny because as soon as I watched the NHL Draft Lottery, I did a quick reaction vlog, and then I had to get changed in my suit and get over to the church, because not only did Kayla get confirmed, but I've been running those masses as part of my job at the church. One other thing, programming note. Today's Saturday. That means tomorrow is Sunday. So I'm looking for questions for Ask Me Anything. It could be anything about the Canucks, about the draft lottery, return to play, COVID, how good looking I am, whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to ask about, go for it. I think we're going to have lots to talk about tomorrow. So yes, on Sundays I usually do my Ask Me Anything video in the afternoon and then my live stream at night. So ask me a question, leave it in the comment section below, right on this video. Just start it off with AMA. Tag it as AMA. That way I know it's a question for tomorrow's vlog. Okay. One thing that's not in question now is who's the number 1 pick going to? And that would be placeholder team. Yes, we don't even know which team that is. It's going to be one of the 8 teams that actually lose their qualifying series. So I guess there's a few big winners. The big winner of this is whoever's going to get to draft Alexis Lafreniere. The big winner of this is Lafreniere himself, because now he's not going to a bottom 7 team. He could actually be going to a team like Pittsburgh or like Toronto or Calgary or Winnipeg, Nashville, or the Vancouver Canucks. It could be a team that would finish in the middle of this pack. A team that could finish as high as 9th or 10th overall could get Lafreniere. And wow, what a difference that makes from going to our already contending team as opposed to having to help a team rebuild from scratch. Of course, LA is a big winner too, going from 4 to 2. And I'd say the big losers are, of course, Detroit dropping from 1 to 4, and Ottawa going from 2 and 3 down to 3 and 5. So basically, in essence, one of their picks dropping 3 spots because of the 3 lottery winners. So a lot of reaction, right, to this draw, to this NHL made for TV event that happened about 20 hours ago. I know there's some conspiracy theorists out there thinking that this was rigged because the NHL could actually technically not have asked for a better result. They can play this up. They can build up the intrigue for another 6 weeks, because that's when the phase 2 of the draft will be, in the middle of August, after the play-in round, but before the true round of the playoffs. So how does this affect the Canucks? Well, it affects the Canucks in a couple ways. Number one, we still have that trade, that first-round pick that we need to give to New Jersey. New Jersey got it from Tampa Bay, right, from the JT Miller trade from last year at the draft. So, refresher, if the Canucks make the playoffs, that means win their play-in round against Minnesota, the Canucks will have deemed as making the playoffs, and then New Jersey will get the Canucks first-round pick. But we don't have to worry that that's going to be Lafreniere, because by the Canucks, the virtue of them making the playoffs, then we are deemed a playoff team, obviously. Well, I guess that's what making the playoffs is. And then the only teams that are able to get the a chance to win the lottery will be teams 8 through 15 from the bottom, meaning the 8 qualifying losers. But Vancouver will not be one of those teams. The other way, and I guess to follow up that, if the Canucks do lose to the Minnesota Wild, then not only do they have a chance, well, they get to keep their pick, I guess is the main thing, and then they have a chance to get Alexis Lafreniere to win the actual draft lottery as one of those 8 qualifying teams. And then no matter what happens, no matter how high or how low they finish next season, New Jersey would get their 2021 draft pick. So that's the implication. That's why it's important for Canucks fans. And as many of you know, all 8 qualifying losers will have an equal chance to get that number one pick. So a 12.5% chance. So that's the magic number right now, 12.5%. Because I saw a lot of debate on Twitter last night. Oh, should the Canucks try and lose? They're not going to try and lose to Minnesota just so they can have a 12.5 chance of getting the first overall pick. Now, some would say, I'll take those odds. 1 out of 8, that's a pretty good chance. Others will say, no, well, that's obviously not as high as if you were in the bottom 3 teams, a typical lottery team, lottery winner. So I don't think anyone, even the fans that want us to lose, or I wouldn't say they want us to lose, are fine with us losing. I don't think that they expect the team to I can't even say the word, remember? TANK. They're not going to do that. They're too proud to do that. And they this year, out of any year, the Canucks, along with every other team, have a chance to do some damage. And that's what I keep saying. If you get past Minnesota, who knows who your first round opponent is, and then at least you're on your way to, down the path to try and win the Stanley Cup. So for me, flat out, I do not at all want the Canucks to lose their qualifying round just so they have a 1 in 8 shot of winning, the lottery, of picking Lafreniere. I do not want that at all. And what I will say is if the Canucks do lose to Minnesota, it's a really nice consolation prize that they have a 1 in 8 chance of getting the first overall pick, but it's certainly not my preference. I want to see the Canucks win. I want to see them build a culture of winning. I want to see what Pettersson and Hughes and Besser can do in the playoffs. I want to see Miller and Beagle and Pearson and those guys lend their experience to a playoff run. I want to see Horvat gain some experience as a captain in the playoffs. So many things. So yes, full stop for me. I want the Vancouver Canucks to win their play-in series against Minnesota, even though unprecedented, they will have the 8 losing teams will have a chance to get Alexis Lafreniere. I put a poll question out on Twitter yesterday saying, now that we know that a placeholder team is going to win the first overall pick, I said, did it change your thoughts or your hopes for the Vancouver Canucks Minnesota Wild play-in series? And I gave 4 options. No, not at all, which is obviously my answer. No, it doesn't change anything. A little bit, somewhat, or completely. So again, the 4 options I gave were no change at all in my thoughts and hopes for the series, changes them a little bit, changes them somewhat, or changes them completely. Got over 150 votes so far. It was pretty split, actually, pretty equal distribution. And the final numbers, I'm just adding them up in my head to make sure I say this right. It was 32% for no change, so that was my vote. 21% for a tad, 21% for somewhat, and then the remaining, what's that? 32 plus 21 plus 21, that's 53, 74, 26, yeah. And 26% said completely. So again, 32% of you saying no change in my thoughts, 21% saying it changes a little bit, 21% saying somewhat, and then 26% saying completely. So it's funny how the 2 biggest vote totals were for not at all at 32% and completely at 26%, the 2 extremes, and then the ones in the middle are 21 each. So when you think about it, only 32%, when you add them all, 32% said it doesn't change anything. But that means when you add up the other 3 categories, voting categories, that means 68% are saying, yeah, it actually would, my opinion changes a little bit, right? The 21, the 21, the 26. So again, 32% saying, no, my opinion doesn't change, yet that leaves 68% that's saying, yeah, my opinion's changed a tiny bit at least. So that's kind of fascinating for me. Like I said, it doesn't change mine, but I will acknowledge that we don't have to worry about it until the play-in series is over, right? Because if the Canucks beat Minnesota, we'll be happy. I can't think of a true fan who will say, no, I wish we had lost. However, if we lose to Minnesota, then that's when we can say, oh, okay, now it's a good consolation prize that we have a 1/8 chance in winning this draft lottery. So Canucks fans, I would love, one other thing actually. It caused some confusion out there because Bob McKenzie basically put out a tweet, as others did, that said, if the NHL does not return to play, then teams 8 through 15, right, not the bottom 7, but 8 through 15, ranked in reverse order of points percentage in the regular season, those will be the 8 teams that will be in the draw, the phase 2 draw for the lottery. So remember, this is only if the NHL does not return to play, and that means there's no qualifying winners or qualifying losers. You knock out Detroit, Ottawa, San Jose, LA, Anaheim, New Jersey, and Buffalo as the bottom 7, but then you take the next 8 worst teams by points percentage, and those 8 teams will have a 1 in 8 chance of winning the first overall pick. And the Canucks would not fall in those bottom 8 because by points percentage, they're actually ranked 7 or 8 in the Western Conference. Because, yeah, they're ranked number 7, right? Because they're the 7th seed and Minnesota is the 10th seed. So a team like Vancouver would not actually factor in. So one thing, if you're kind of looking for another reason why you want the NHL to return to play, aside from you want to see hockey, it's because if they don't return to play, then Vancouver will not get a chance to be one of those 8 teams. So there's a very big difference there, right? If the NHL does return to play, the 8 teams that can win first overall are the 8 teams that lose in the qualifying round. But if the NHL does not return to play, it's the 8 teams that have the worst regular season points percentage after the bottom 7, and Vancouver does not fall in those 8 teams. They were not in the bottom half, right? 1 through 15 of the league. So I'll talk about that more once we find out if the NHL is returning to play, but that's a very important thing to remember as well. Okay, there's a lot there, Canucks fans. So 2 things. Leave me a comment for tomorrow's Ask Me Anything video. Just, precede it with AMA, and I will answer it in tomorrow's vlog. Or the question of the day today is, how are you feeling? Did your opinion change? Did your hopes change for the Vancouver Canucks Minnesota Wild series once you knew that a placeholder team is going to pick first overall? That's the question of the day. Leave a comment below. I would love to read, react, and reply as always. Subscribe if you'd like to. Like this video if you'd like to. Enjoy the day. God bless. Stay safe. Stay healthy. And take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great day. God bless. And go Canucks go.